Hi, I'm Susan Schatzer, one of the producers of the up-and-coming movie with the LA Tribune called The Pillars of Power. Joining me today is our headliner, Jerry Sargeant, who's excited to share his experience on the set today.
Hey Susan, thank you for having me. Yeah, it's been amazing being here. We've done the filming this morning with Donna, and the questions have been awesome. It's been flowing, and yeah, just so much incredible information coming out to share with the audience.
So this is going to be a transformative movie, would you say?
100%. No questions, no ifs, buts, or maybes. I mean, what people are going to get from watching this is a whole arsenal of tools that they're going to be able to use to amplify their life.
One of the beautiful things that I love about your work with Star Magic is that you transcend time and space and bring back some magic to your clients and to the people that you're working with. Would you tell us a little bit about what you shared during your show interview?
So we train people to heal with the frequency that we call star magic, which is an extraterrestrial light frequency that we use to facilitate the healing of our sisters and brothers. So if someone has some kind of injury, illness, or disease, we look at their body very differently. We look at it as a computer system. The body and brain is a biological computer, and it's full of code, full of information, which are the programs that people run. So what we're able to do is tap into the back end of that biological computer and change it. So if someone has a particular disease, we can shift it. If it's business performance, we can change it. So people are getting physical, verifiable results very quickly, standing up from wheelchairs, eyesight coming back, you name it. So we've been diving deep into all of that stuff during the interview. It's been awesome.
So excited to hear everything that you're sharing with the audience. So Jerry, tell us about your life before you got started in Star Magic.
So, as you know, my life before Star Magic was very different. I was smuggling drugs, guns, involved in lots of high-profile bank fraud, and I loved it. I had no reason to change it. I was young and I was crazy and I was earning loads of money and I thought I had everything that I wanted. Never really happy, like real happiness. Thought I was, but I wasn't at all. And I was involved in a serious car crash in Romania in 2004, and then that changed everything. A lady came through the windscreen, smashed me in the face whilst I was sleeping, got flipped over the car and died. And when I got out of the car, I saw a soul leave her body, and this is what started my spiritual journey. And then it took me onto the path of star magic, extraterrestrials, and my whole life just took a different path. And now I'm here sat with you, and we're creating this movie to inspire other humans to do the same thing.
So tell us about that transition, because that is a radical difference. You know, it's not like someone was just, walking down the road and, they've been in church a lot and all of a sudden they become more spiritual. Like you were one end and now the complete opposite end of the spectrum of things. How did that feel for you?
Well, I'm a kind of a curious human being, and I'm like a dog with a bone. If I get a little hint of something and I know that it's kind of real, I'm like, right, I need to find everything out about this. So once I'd had this kind of sniff, I was curious and I just couldn't let it go. So it was a constant kind of like evolvement. It was fraught with challenges too, because I'd been in this world that I was trying to get out of, which I didn't really realize that I wanted to get out of it until I was a bit further on down the line. And all of my friends were trying to keep me involved in that world. So there were so many temptations, and I kept succumbing to those temptations for a long time until I kind of fully stepped away from it. And one of the culminating factors was a court case. I was looking at a long prison sentence, and one of the culminating factors was a court case. I was looking at a long prison sentence, and I went to court and I said to the universe, listen, if you get me off of this court case, I promise you I'm going to throw myself into this healing stuff. So anyway, I went into court. The judge came out with his accomplices, the lady. She had wings on her back. I could see them. She was like an angel. And to cut a long story short, there was some kind of higher force at work that got me off of the court case. I walked free, and that was it. I knew I had to commit to this process, and I've not looked back since.
Yeah, that's a pretty dynamic experience to have and to live through and to come out of, and then to dedicate your life to being in service to so many other people. So tell us, Jerry, a little bit about the transformation that took place, because I know a lot of people, you're inked and you've got a lot of ink, from head to toe. Tell us about that aspect of you and how that serves you best.
Well, every tattoo on my body tells a story. I've never been into a tattoo shop and said, stick that lion on me, stick that eagle on me, stick that snake on me. Like, everything is kind of custom designed. And my whole life tells a story. From the very first tattoo that I got was my daughter's name. So going back to 2001, when my ex-wife found out she was pregnant, we knew that her name was going to be Alea before she was even born. So I got her name tattooed on me. And then it's just been an unfolding of tattoos that are to do with geometry and code and frequency and the stars and everything star magic, And yeah, I mean, they're a bit of an addiction too. I was just thinking the other day, I need to go in and get some more ink. Like, a friend of mine in New Zealand, Kane, he's done a lot of tattoos on my body. So whenever I go there, I was booking with him. And he always says it's like therapy, it's a therapy session. And for me, it really is. You get to go in there, the needles are going into your body, and there's nothing else to think about. It's just you're in that present moment and just feeling the ink go in, feeling the energy. And it's a very, very sacred process for me.
Yeah, I definitely can see that, because you're showing me your aura and everything else that's kind of happening. So where will the next one go?
You know what? This neck and up the side of my head here is definitely something that I'm looking at. And then the backs of my calves. My friend David, who's one of our team in Scotland, he's designing me a very specific lion and a very specific panther, full of light language and code. One to go on each of the back of my calves, and so they can watch my back for me when I'm facing that way. Yeah.
That is so cool, and it's so real. Like, with the intention that you're placing when you're having it drawn and then inked on, is a huge part of protection, per se. Like you said, watching my back. Is there anything else you have on you that you have placed on for protection?
I don't really, when I say to watch my back, it's not really because I feel like I need to be protected, because we are divinely in alignment and we're everywhere we should be. I feel that what we need to do as humans is have a high level of self-awareness, and that is our protection. So there's nothing that I've got on there to really protect me, but everything is on there with specific meaning. I mean, everywhere I walk on this planet, I've got hundreds of lions and lionesses with me, these diamond and crystal white lions. They've been with me for years. They're called the Ka-Ra-Nu tribe. They're from Lyra. So if you've got your third eye sight switched on and you tap into my field, you'll see they're everywhere. So I've never really got any kind of concerns like that. But these tattoos, panther is kind of like my spirit animal. And when I was on Avion, like, my humanoid Lyran self was like a masculine lion humanoid. So it's this kind of character of me that is going to be on my right calf, and the panther aspect of me that's going to be on the left calf. Yeah.
Love it. Does that not light you up?
Life lights me up every day, but getting a tattoo does light me up, definitely.
I could see you're jonesing. You're jonesing for it. You're like, oh, when am I going to get there? When am I going to get the needles? When is it happening?
I am like that. I'm like a little kid. Yeah. I'm like a little kid getting a tattoo.
I love it. So tell us about, I know you're working on creating a healing center in Romania. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that? How's it going? What's up and coming with it?
Yeah, so back in 2016 was when we started Star Magic. As soon as I started it and committed to that process after the court case, the Lyrans that downloaded the frequencies that became Star Magic came to visit me again and told me that I had to build healing centers. They showed them me holographic when I was meditating on this hilltop. And at the time I was like, this sounds like a great idea, but how is this ever going to come to fruition? At the time I'd just started this healing business, and I literally, when I started the healing business, I got stripped of everything financially. I had to be that way so I could go into Star Magic with a clean slate. So I had no money, I had nothing. It was like back to square one. So it seemed like a great idea, but I didn't know how it was going to happen. And now, like 8 years on, We're building our first one in Transylvania. We've also bought land in Madeira, the UK. We're looking at land in Brazil and Guatemala at the moment. And we've got all of these people with funding come through. It's just everything's happening. The center in Transylvania is going to be built out of this very specific geometrical code. And just going into the buildings themselves, people are going to heal without anyone working on them. So the actual space is going to be this oasis of high frequency galactic energy. It's going to be built on around 22 acres. The main building is a multi-dimensional Merkaba field. The whole space is incredible. It's all been designed. We're just going through planning permission at the moment. So fingers crossed by the end of this year, we'll break ground and we'll be rocking and rolling.
That sounds amazing. So exciting. Is there anything planned for the United States by chance?
100%. At the moment, we just haven't found the right piece of land. But when I was told about the 13 centers, they gave me the locations, and the United States is on the card. So we're definitely going to be... And I love the States too, I mean, I'm here now. I'm supposed to go back on Tuesday, but I don't think I'm going to go back. I think I'm going to stay here because we've got workshops in February, and I've got another event in March. So I think I'm just going to stay here until mid-March now. It feels like home here.
What a great place to hang out in the U.S., huh? I love it. So, Jerry, we're closing up this one segment. Is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience about your piece of the puzzle with the pillars of power?
When people get to watch what I'm sharing and experience the information and the wisdom coming through, it's going to definitely help them unlock pieces of themselves that they never knew existed. We are geometrical code. We're mathematics, a universal level. And everything that I'm sharing is embedded with codes that are coming through the words and the intelligence. And by listening and feeling and tapping into it, it's going to unlock deep, deep wisdom, deep, deep knowledge, and help them step into their full human potential so they can be their most empowered versions of themselves. So I'm really excited about this whole movie. It's awesome.
I love the fact that you're talking about the transformation that people are going to have, because so many people right now are going through so much fear, whether it's a fire, a weather forecast, a financial situation, the elections in the different countries that are taking place. What can you tell us about that fear?
You know what? I think this whole thing's a joke. I always say to people, you've got to step into your kind of jester aspect, your joker aspect. The jester and the joker, they've cracked it. The fool has cracked it because they don't give a flying what about what other people think. They just are themselves, unapologetically authentic, which was a topic we tapped into during the interview. And when you are unapologetically authentic and you don't care about what other people think, you just play and you have fun and you just let your character flow. And you realize that everything else in your external environment is one great big cosmic joke, and you stop taking it so seriously. Then you can have fun with it, you can laugh with it, you can joke with it, and life is it's a much better reality to play in. Or you can step into the fear and play the game that most people are playing. But we get to choose fear or love in every single situation, and I prefer love.
Profound.
Yeah.
We could go to the little boy Jerry growing up, and can you tell us a little bit about him, and then I'm going to ask you about a message that you would give him now. So tell us about Jerry, little boy Jerry.
Little boy Jerry was very shy. He was extremely afraid. He was scared. He just wanted to hide in a deep, dark closet and never really be seen. I was fostered and adopted as a child. I found my real mum, actually, which was an awesome experience when I was about 25. And I had a crazy old relationship with her, actually, and then it kind of fizzled out for many reasons. But my mother, she was tortured when she gave birth to me. So I came out in this kind of really horrific way, and there's a lot of abuse and blah, blah, blah. So I grew up rejection was my biggest thing. This, speaking in front of a camera. You'd have asked me to do this when I was a kid, I would have ran a mile. This was just something that I would never have felt comfortable doing. So yeah, little Jerry he was just afraid, scared, but always putting on a front. And trying to be brave and, trying to be courageous and make the world think that there was nothing else going on underneath. But it was, yeah, I mean, if I could give him a message, I mean, the thing is, I've done so much work with little Jerry. So there's nothing really that I could say to little Jerry now that I've not already said to him. But if I was turning back the hands in time, it would be, I love you. You're safe. Just trust the process and don't worry about all of this humanness too much. It's just, it's a great big cosmic joke. And, you're exactly where you were supposed to be. You experienced everything that you were supposed to be experiencing because, you've got a mission to fulfill later on. Or you had a mission to fulfill later on, which is the mission that I'm living now. But if I hadn't have gone through all the little things that little Jerry went through, I would never be able to be the human being that I am now, to be of service in the way that I am. So I've been through so many experiences, and little Jerry plays a really big part in, what gets delivered now, because, he's always inside of me and a part of me, and he's had those experiences which help me connect with other people.
Yeah, so how did little Jerry get into trouble with drugs and guns?
So I played a lot of rugby as a child. I'm from England, and you have American football here. Over there we have rugby, and I loved it. I played it from 6 years old until I was about 14, 15, and we had a really good rugby team. And I actually thought rugby was going to be my life. And even from the age of sort of 10, 11 years old, we had to travel around the country and play older kids to get good games because we were really good as a team. And one day we had this match against this team that were 2 years older than us. And they were a lot bigger than us. And they tried to take advantage of it. Anyway, a big fight kicked off on the rugby pitch. I got sent off. And when I got sent off, their hooker, he walked around me to get the ball, and he said, "Enjoy your suspension." So I was boiling. So anyway, when he picked up the ball and he walked back round the other side, and I punched him in the nose and broke his nose. And then the whole line out ran at me. Like, it was a big fight. My mum jumped in, everything. It was a big fight on the touchline. Anyway, I had to go to rugby court, and I got banned for a year. And when I got banned, that's when I turned to sort of drink and drugs. Like, the rave scene was really rife in England. Parties, ecstasy, blowing whistles with white gloves. So I got into that, then started selling ecstasy tablets. And it was just a whole thing that just went from one thing to another. And then I ended up in Tenerife in the Canary Islands working for a high-profile criminal organization, and just went from one thing to another until the car crash. Yeah.
How fun. What a life. If you stopped and looked back, could you ever in a million years dream that this is where you've been and this is where you're headed now?
Well, it's quite wild, actually, because I've just had a movie written about my life story called Spiritual Gangster, and I've had to go back through the script so many times. So I've been going over and over in my life from all these different angles, and it's kind of quite surreal. Some of the things that I've been through, and I sit here and I go back through them, and I'm reading them in a script and thinking, it's like it was someone else's life and not really my life, because so many things have happened, so many beautiful things, so many dangerous things. I really should be dead or in prison, but I'm sat here talking to you, and we're about to release this movie to inspire millions of people. I don't really know how I got here. I don't. It's just happened, Like time's collapsed, and it's just, we're here right now.
Yes. Yeah, and it is as if time has collapsed, because that's what we do. We collapse time and space. So awesome. So Jerry, tell us about your pillar of power, the one that you most resonate with, that is inspiring you to inspire others through your segment in the movie.
Remind me of what they are again, please.
Yeah. So spirituality, mental health, financial, health, wellness, relationships.
We've got these 5 pillars, okay, and it's very difficult for me to pick one pillar that I'm really interested in, because the work that I do encompasses all of the pillars and more. It's about stepping into wholeness. It's about stepping into that pure source frequency. It's about being love. It's about being present and whole, and being that kind of pillar of light which is beyond the physical form. When you plug into the God worlds, when you plug into Mother Earth's God seed atom, and you run the electrical and the magnetic frequencies, you activate the Holy Grail. People have been searching for this Holy Grail for millions of years. Like it's some artifact they can find in a cave or buried somewhere. It's electromagnetic energy. It's the masculine and feminine merged in wholeness running through the body. When you come into that frequency, all of those pillars. It's like you've got these 5 pillars that they go and they're 0 pointed and everything just flows and functions. Trying to sort out your finances, trying to sort out your relationships, trying to sort out your mental health, it's never going to work. What you have to do is 0 point your frequency correctly and everything else flows, because when you 0 point your energy from a state of presence, you move into wholeness, co-creation, manifestation, and everything flows with ease and grace. We as humans make it a little bit too difficult because we're trying to be logical. If we go beyond the logic into the multidimensional, boom, everything's just right now and it just is what it is, and it's just energy, love, flow.
I love it. And that is so true. What you were just talking about with 0 pointing everything in, it just happens. And then from there, you're able to expand out and create something that's way more magical than you could have had you not brought it all in, which is so fun. So tell us about Star Magic and what is up and coming with your new work that you're bringing forward.
Everything is always evolving and changing all the time. And that's why I'm excited like a little kid every single day waiting for Christmas. Wake up and it's like you're opening new presents because there's new information coming through and it's exciting. Last year, I went on a grid work mission, around 15 countries that I went to in 4.5 weeks to bury crystals, which were in the shape of a dragon's wing, which is the new 7th dimensional architecture to hold the new divine mother frequencies coming to Earth. So what we're doing at the moment, we've just launched a whole new bunch of workshops off the back of that. And then later on this year, we're launching a reality TV show around plant medicine. We're obviously building the healing center in Transylvania, and we've got a whole bunch of trainings lined up. I mean, there's just so much going on. Every day is just a beautiful experience. I'm just so happy to be creating and working with some amazing souls and helping people transform their lives and stepping into their own empowerment.
Love it. So if you could share some hot tips with the audience on maybe the first step going from a life they don't love, life that's not fulfilled, to a life that is, what would be that first step someone could take?
Being honest with yourself. I think, I know most people just won't admit that there's anything wrong with their life, and until you admit there's something wrong with your life and you can accept that your life isn't really where it needs to be, you're never going to change. It's like being an alcoholic, a drug addict. I've done all of that stuff. I used to smoke crack cocaine. I used to do ecstasy. Every drug I've done it under the planet, And it's a process. It's a mission, but it takes discipline, it takes focus, it takes dedication, but it starts with that level of self-awareness, and it starts with you making a choice and making a commitment to yourself, knowing that you need to change. And if you're committed to that change, things will start to change, opportunities will arise, and then you've got to take action. And you've just got to put some basics in place. Get up early, go to the gym, meditate, intermittent fasting, breath work, eat clean foods, cold showers in the morning. All of these things cost you absolutely nothing, but people don't do them. So it's about making that commitment, putting some simple choices in place, committing to yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And then from there, everything will just naturally unfold as long as you stick to the plan and don't get distracted by all the craziness in the world.
Like, definitely keep your TV set off.
Yeah, I remember 2000, got 2 children, Josh and Alea, and, we used to watch TV with them all the day, or every day. 2007 or 2008, I took the TV off the wall, smashed it, and we've never had TV since. And it was the hardest probably few weeks or a month. Where's the TV? They wanted to watch their cartoons, whatever it was. And it was tough. But now...
You have your cell phone now.
Cell phone, I've got my iPad, I've got it all. But no, there's so many other things to engage your pursuits in, like the things I mentioned, like meditation, breath work. Go and explore a mountain, go for a walk, go out into the forest, man. You become so connected when you go there. People think, well, if I lose my TV and I lose my phone, I'm going to be disconnected. No, you're actually going to plug in, It's just a mindset,
Yeah, absolutely. So what is your drug of choice now, Jerry?
My drug of choice? I've got multiple drugs of choice. So love is definitely at the top of the list. But I'm also a big fan of psilocybin, a big fan of ayahuasca, San Pedro. I love plant medicine, and we run plant medicine retreats all the time, and we combine that with the galactic frequencies of star magic, and it's a whole other level. So love is my choice of drug 24/7, 365, and I partake in plant medicine here and there.
I love it. So tell us about some of the locations where you've taken people that have been just super transformative for them.
Well, every week we do these galactic meditations where we bring people out of their bodies and we travel to different temples, different ascension spaces. The planet Bevericon in the Boots constellation, which is an Arcturian threshold, has some amazing temple spaces there. I remember years ago I was writing a book called The Vortex of Consciousness. I was sat at my computer and I fell through the computer screen, and I was on a bridge, and I was on this planet called Bevericon. I thought, I'm going nuts, man. So I'm walking around, there's children throwing balls of light. They got halos around their heads. I went to this castle. There was a lady there called Gian Treva, and she introduced me to this wizard. And I was watching the wizard give a class to these children, all these multidimensional things. So I started taking people there. So people started upgrading and upskilling and bringing these multidimensional gifts to Earth. And since then, we've been taking people all over the universe in these galactic meditations, and the transformation, the DNA upgrades, the healing, it's just a whole other level.
That's pretty amazing, because I thought I was going to get you to say Egypt and the Pyramid of Giza, but no, you went out.
We do run trips to Egypt every year. 2 years ago, we've been running trips to Egypt since 2017. And they're like 16-day trips. They're amazing. Last year I hired the whole Giza pyramid to myself, and I went in the dark for several hours, and I laid in the king's chamber right in the middle where the sarcophagus should be. And I followed this kind of mathematical protocol that my guides have been teaching me, and all of the walls in the king's chamber collapsed. They completely disappeared. And all of this light was there. And I went out through the top of the Giza pyramid, up through these stargates, up to the God worlds. And they were showing me how to take your physical body through stargate systems for multidimensional travel. Because the Giza pyramid is a stargate. It's a supercomputer, but people just don't realize. There was no king buried there years ago. It's a whole load of rubbish. You know that. But yeah, so we take people on physical journeys around the planet, and obviously multidimensional journeys too, yeah.
So cool. Thank you, Jerry, so much for spending this time with us and sharing the little boy Jerry and your inked Jerry and the drug Jerry and the Jerry of today. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
So if what Jerry and I have been speaking with you about resonates with you, then pop on over to the movie, The Pillars of Power, and we look forward to seeing you there. Until we get to meet you in person, ciao for now. Bye.
See you soon.